Let's start playing the video. Okay, now the video is playing. Welcome, this is Mark at the Brown Family Workshop. And I was talking to somebody the other day. They were telling me that they didn't know that much about Vietnam and they wanted to travel there, but they were fearful of the fact that they didn't really like Vietnamese food. And I got to admit myself, I'm not a big fan of Vietnamese food. I like American food, I like French, Italian. The Vietnamese food to me just is not that flavorful. So out of all the pictures that I had taken throughout Vietnam, I combed through my stack again and wanted to make this video of all of the different food locations, all of the different types of foods in Vietnam. I've got Lotteria, which is basically a hamburger joint in Vietnam, and you can get hamburger and chicken there. There's a nice restaurant in Vietnam that we went to, and everything is in English. Another problem that my friend had was he was afraid of traveling because he doesn't understand foreign languages. Two of the best things that you can do when you travel to a foreign country is you download on your phone the foreign currency translator and then the voice translator. If you've got those two with you, you're doing really good. The technology has advanced so high in both of those that you can do really well. You can ask a basic question in the translator and have it translate to whoever you're talking to give you the good understanding of what it is you're looking for. Ran into a bunch of Lay's potato chips. We've got sushi flavored. We've got crab flavored. There's cuttlefish, not cuttlefish flavored, but chopped up cuttlefish in there. I think it was seasoned pork flavored, seasoned turkey flavor, barbecue beef flavor. They were all really interesting, so I wanted to make sure that you guys saw them because there's some bizarre stuff out there. Before that, we drove by a a Baskin Robbins. They have Baskin Robbins in the big cities, and it's the same price as America, but it's really good food, and it gives you that taste of home when you need it. You can get Aquafina water, not some strange brand that you're afraid of. You can get Pepsi there. You can get a lot of different beverages there. Vietnam isn't a scary, dirty place like last time I was in Mexico or China. It's actually very clean. The difference between Vietnam and a lot of other countries is the fact that they don't really care too much about the outsides of their buildings. They care a lot more about the insides of the buildings. And you can find a machine shop and a welding shop and a ballet studio right next to a restaurant, and you wouldn't know what they were unless you could see some kind of a recognizable icon or unless you recognize the language there. Once you get in the stores are all very well kept. They're all very pretty inside. They do what they can to make them look nice and appealing. And the prices are all very cheap there, which is great. Excuse me. Baskin Robbins was a wonderful place to go, but you're looking at the different flavors, which are a riot of colors. The labels are in English. You can read them. Everything you can read just fine. Most of the younger people there know how to read English or know how to understand English. So if you get in a real jam about something, go find a kid, say 10 to 21, 22 years old. They should be able to have good enough conversational English to help you through whatever jams you have, whatever issues you have. This really nice lady at this tea place, she spoke really good English. I was really impressed with her, and she didn't seem any different than anybody else, just that she went to college and she knew how to speak English and Vietnamese, which was wonderful. There's a sign right here. There's Domino's Pizza signs. I never saw Domino's Pizza there, but they apparently have Domino's Pizza. This is a shopping mall that's stuck inside one of the big buildings in the area, and I couldn't tell that there was a shopping mall there from the outside. But my fiance took me in there, and it's a regular shopping mall that you'd see anywhere in the U.S. And the street vendor food is delicious. It's a lot cheaper, and you can tell by the volume of people that go through there that the food is good, it's clean, it's easy, it's all basic, simple food. And the whole time I was in Vietnam, I've been there twice now, never had a problem eating any of the street foods. One of the things that you don't see very much of in Vietnam are flies. You don't see flies, you don't see very many creepy crawly insects around. There are geckos all over the place, and the geckos eat most of the fly larvae. or anything else like that. So you're pretty much safe on most of the insects that breed diseases or anything like that, which was really nice and pleasant. You can always stop in at a Circle K, which is the same thing as a 7-Eleven in the US. They had Starbucks there. Sorry, they only have like 4 Starbucks in all of Vietnam, but in Saigon they have Starbucks. So if you're dying for a Starbucks, they have one there. But they also have a lot of other coffee shops that are as good or better than Starbucks. Starbucks, you're paying for the name. I don't drink coffee, so don't get down on me on that one. You can find a lot of other coffee stores that are very similar to Starbucks, that you can get coffee just as good and just as tasty at. The Texas Beer Club, it looks like a dump from the outside. Inside it was really cool. Okay, this is in Nha Trang City. If you get a chance to, just hit pause and go over that menu. You can have kangaroo steak. You can have a lot of very interesting meats and dishes there. This is inside of a lotteria. On the walls they have words printed out in English. They don't mean anything. They're just sentences or sometimes just short phrases. But it was throwing me off because I was trying to make sense out of them. I realize you just can't. They're just words and phrases. But a meal for 2 is $6 at Lotteria, and it was really good food. So it's not one of those things that you have to worry about starving or anything like that. If you plan on going down to Vietnam, one of the things that I would suggest to you is don't really take any food with you down there, especially chocolate. They've got all the chocolate that they need down there. You might pick up some chocolate in Vietnam to bring home to America, but don't take it to Vietnam because it's so hot there that the chocolate will melt. And just about everything that you can get in America, you can get down there. Texas chicken. I had never eaten Texas chicken before, but it seemed like a fairly popular place. The chicken restaurants are more popular than the hamburger or the steak restaurants, which I found kind of strange. You can get pizza there. There's a Pizza Hut there. There's a Domino's pizza there, but I'd never seen it. The Aeon Mall is another shopping mall. It's a big, huge shopping mall complex all on its own. And you can get almost anything there that you can get in America. Vans, shoes, and Converse. And there's a bathing suit store there for ladies. We went to the beaches there. Most of the ladies in Vietnam do not wear bathing suits. They don't wear bikinis. They wear shorts and t-shirts. Nothing sexy, nothing revealing, nothing too scant. There's a Jollibee there. Jollibee is another chicken place that I've seen all over the place in America as well. But they also have French food. They have Mexican food there. They have Italian food. They have a lot of ice cream shops there. Ice creams are a big thing. But also, if you look over on the right, they've got a kids' playground there. There are kids' playgrounds all over the place in the area. They value family time. They value spending time with their kids. And they value finding good entertainment for the kids. This video, I would actually really appreciate it if you hit pause every now and then and study the pictures. The pictures are not as good as they should be. I'm sorry for that. But I wasn't really doing a photo shoot at a shopping mall. We were just shopping. And it looked so familiar there that I felt instantly at home. So I started taking pictures just in case I might need them for later. There's a takeaway coffee, which is a knockoff of Highlands coffee in the US. But pause the videos and go through and look at the prices on any of these. And go into Bing or Google and type VND equals USD, 7,100, 71,000 VND equals how many USD, and you'll get the price of basically anything. I'm recording this in September of 2020, so you may see it in a couple of years from now, so the prices will have changed, but it'll give you a good idea of what the pricing structure is. This is a fancy Japanese restaurant, and the meals in there were $5 a piece. So you can eat really good, and that's one of those restaurants where they cook at the table for you. So you order your fresh vegetables, your raw meat, and they cook it right there on the table for you. All of the food there was really good. I enjoyed the food that I ate there very much, but there were some things I just was not adventurous enough to try. I was in culture shock there just as much as my fiance was in culture shock when she came to America, because everything is so different. One thing that I was fearful of with the food is I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to eat anything there. So I brought a bag, a big Costco-sized bag of smoke roasted almonds with me, and I really, really liked that. They were the Blue Diamond smoke flavored almonds. They were great. I ate a little bit of them every now and then my fiance discovered them, and I lost all of them. She sat down and ate them as fast as she could because they were so delicious. And then she introduced those to her mom, and her mom ate them like crazy. I basically lost the whole bag, and I started eating white rice instead, which was also really good. Soda pop there is really cheap. I drink soda pop instead of coffee, and you can get it anywhere. Fresh water, good, clean, fresh water from any manufacturer you can find in America. You can get beer there. Beer is really cheap. Most people drink beer. I don't drink alcohol, so I've got a few pictures of alcohol with the prices on them. So in case you guys care, you'll get an idea of what the pricing is. But I didn't know anything about any of that stuff there, so I took the pictures, but I didn't really put any meaning into them on my own. You can get Japanese food there, sushi. You can get a great deal of food. They were playing first-run American movies there. When I was there, they were playing the movie The Kingsman back in 2015. Still haven't seen the movie yet, but it was in English with the Vietnamese subtitles down below. So it looked really interesting. It looked like it could have been fun. I saw a couple of previews, but we didn't go in and watch the movie itself. Vietnam is a really fun and entertaining place to go. The women, everywhere you go, the women are incredibly beautiful. They're instead of in America where they're all plastic and artificial looking, you look at the women there and you see all of them are hardworking ladies. Some of them might have nice fingernails, but you know that they still know how to work. They still know how to do a real man's job or a real person's job, as opposed to the things in America where, you know, a lady, you just look at her and everything on her is artificial. And you wonder how much that cost and so on. In Vietnam, they're still real people, more like America in the 50s and 60s than America today. The women were nice. They genuinely cared. I went to some of the small villages in the outskirts, and I was the first white man that a lot of them had seen ever. And it was cool because I was kind of like a rock star there because I looked so different. Here's another location where they have flavored popcorn. They have flavored coffees to go. You can get bags of roasted coffee to take home. Anything you can get in America, I pretty much saw there. The power there is 220. If you look at the outlets, if you have a two-prong power outlet for your laptop or a big wall wart, something like that, as long as the laptop is 110/220 power inversion built into it, you can just plug your laptop right into the wall and use it, no problem at all. They charge faster that way too. Which is kind of cool. They had Carl's Jr. there. I tried a burger at Carl's Jr. It tasted exactly like in America. I was in the Philippines 30 years ago, and I went to a Pizza Hut there, and the pizza tastes so foreign that it actually made me physically ill eating it. But in Vietnam, everything tasted pretty much the same. The spices are a little bit different. They don't use as much salt as we do. I'm in a shopping center here. They have street food out front. Oh, these things are grapefruits. Extremely large grapefruits. You eat them, they're delicious. They're a lot sweeter than a normal grapefruit, and they're like twice the size of a real grapefruit. The skin is like half an inch thick, but they're delicious. I've seen those in stores in America. They're worth eating. In this grocery store right here, you can get all the foods that you can get in America for the most part. In the stores, the food is more expensive. The street vendor food outside is just as good. You can go get fresh onions, fresh carrots and such from the street vendors outside, which is cheaper and more convenient. But if you want to feel like it's more hygienic, or if you want to have a wider variety, you can go into these stores here and pick up just about anything you want in here. And the helmets. If you're an American man above 5'5", you probably won't fit into the helmets. They're cool if you do any motorcycle riding at home, to grab a helmet and take it home with you. They're more like bump helmets. They're not dot rated. But they have little cutouts for ponytails for the girls. and they're $7 each for the helmets. But my head was too big. I was looking the whole time for a helmet. I couldn't find one that fit my head down there. And when I put on a helmet to go riding on the scooters, my head hurt the whole time. So just one thing to be aware of. You can find clothes that are big enough for you there for the most part, but helmets was the only thing that I found that was an issue. I didn't look for shoes or anything there. I'm watching the video here too, trying to think of anything I can find in here that you guys would be curious about. Excuse me. There's a lot of coffees that you can get. You can get some really cool coffees there. There's one special kind of coffee there that I don't drink coffee, so I don't know anything about this, but it's like meercat coffee or something like that. And apparently the meerkats eat the coffee beans. It passes through their digestive system, and the farmers pick up what's left out, and they clean up the coffee beans, and apparently through that digestive tract it changes the flavor and actually gives it a very desirable flavor. So if you want meerkat poop coffee, you can buy it in Vietnam, but apparently only in Vietnam, and it's really expensive. Oreo cookies. I brought some Oreo cookies with me because I thought that would be a fantastic treat for the kids. No, it's not. They've had them before. I was kind of let down. I also tried something different. I went to a specialty store and got Pop Rocks because I thought I would be just super cool dude with Pop Rocks. Excuse me. Trying to show the kids how magical Pop Rocks are. I gave away 4 or 5 packets. I made a couple of kids smiles, really big because they tried the Pop Rocks. And then I found them in every store I went to after that. Pop Rocks were all over the place, just that moms wouldn't buy them for their kids. So that was kind of a letdown. Here we've got milk, boxed milk sitting on the shelf. I don't know how they prepare it, but my fiance wasn't that impressed with getting the milk for her daughter. She liked the fresh milk that was refrigerated. But this is 90% of the milk selection here. You can also get soy milk and almond milk and yogurt galore, but the more expensive milk was the fresh milk, and that's what they preferred to have. Look here, you can get frozen pizza if you wanted to get frozen pizza. Here's also some really fancy chocolates that you can get and take back home with you. Just remember that they're going to melt. I've included in my description link down below the names and web pages or YouTube channels of a couple of the other guys that I talk to fairly frequently. There's 2 different guys that are living in Da Nang, Vietnam, and they basically give you a daily vlog of what daily life is in Vietnam, and they answer questions and such. So you can get a really good impression of what it's actually like in Vietnam today. And if you feel like signing in and sending these guys notes, they'll actually answer them. They cover some really interesting subject matters, like can you rent a scooter in Vietnam? And it's like yes and no. You don't want to break the law there because you don't want to go to a Vietnamese prison. But in a lot of places, getting a permit to drive is almost impossible. Getting a permit to ride a motorcycle, if you have a motorcycle permit in America, you can get it transferred over to Vietnam for the time that you're there, but it's fairly difficult to do from what I hear. The restaurants had really good quality food, and a lot of it was, they would cook the food for you as you sat down at the table, which was nice and interesting. Although we were in Nha Trang, which was a resort town that caters mostly to the Russians, and we found a Texas barbecue restaurant there owned by a guy from Texas. He even had a live radio station playing through the computer, and he was streaming a live country radio station there with traffic reports and everything as we were eating dinner. It was so cool. I introduced my wife to baked potatoes, to mashed potatoes, to French fries. She'd never had any of that before. We ordered a big, huge, fat Texas steak. We ordered enough food for 5 people, and we just sat there and sampled because my wife hadn't seen most of these foods before, hadn't tried them before. And for her, it was an eye-opening cultural experience that she'd never had a chance to enjoy before. The entire meal for about 6 cost me about $25. And it was an absolutely magical experience watching her eyes light up at all the interesting and wonderful things. This is a typical Vietnamese meal right here. with a Vietnamese salad and white rice, and all of the different things you can get there. Most of it's safe. Most of it you can eat. You're probably not as picky as I am. Here I broke down some of the costs of the meals in these different restaurants. This is inside of Jollibee. I live in Seattle. We have a Jollibee. We have a couple of Jollibees in Seattle. So we've been to the locations in Seattle too, and the menus are pretty much the same. They're just written in English in Seattle. You can get ice cream just about everywhere. If you notice, all of the menus here, they're all pretty much written in English. Not necessarily that so many Americans go to Vietnam. There's a good number, but also the French people, they can speak English. The Germans, the Europeans, they can speak English or read English well enough. So English is kind of an international language more than it is a purely American thing. They have a lot of cheeses there, which I was surprised by, because I'd taken down some smoked Gouda, and oh my goodness, people there absolutely went crazy over it. They thought it was the best in the world. And then we went to the shopping center, I found Gouda. So a lot of it is, my wife is from South Vietnam, and she's from one of the villages. She'd lived in Ho Chi Minh City or Saigon for a while also. But a lot of the stuff, it's just, the stuff that you see at the grocery store, but you never bother to pick up and sample because you've got something else to do, or you're familiar with something else. So when we took all of their fancy foods back to the small town village where she was from, where her parents are, and they got to try these exotic foods, they were in absolute heaven. And then I found out later that you can get the stuff there. They just chose not to get it because it was expensive. So be cautious. Oh, here I bought a pizza, my first pizza. It was a 6-inch round pizza, and it was $4, and it was really disgusting. But some of the stuff is made like in America, some of the stuff is not made like in America. I wanted to give you guys a visual indication here, though, of what the outside of the building looks like versus what it looks like inside. Is a world of difference. So try it out sometime. Thank you very much. I'd love to hear your comments in the comments section. Have a good day.